Hi, this is Derek, and today what I want to do is share with you something called a mind hack, or a simple little tip or strategy that you can use. It's not going to take any additional effort really than what you're doing right now, but if you use it consistently, it can change your mindset, okay, in a very simple and subtle way, but in a good way. And hopefully you'll understand that at the end of this video. So what I want to do in this video is explain to you exactly what this mind hack is. Then second of all, I want to show you how it works. And third, why you can benefit from it. Okay, so why actually use it? So first of all, what is it? Well, as you know, most of us, whenever we're making a list, and most of us have a to-do list of some sort, whenever we're making a to-do list, what we tend to do, most people, is create a to-do list in the form of statements. Okay, so for example, let's say you have a book that you're writing, so you might put in on your to-do something like book. You might have something to do with an anniversary, so you'll write down anniversary. You might have to pick up your dry cleaning, so you'll write down dry cleaning. So you have this list here of things to do. Book, anniversary, dry cleaning, right? Now, the problem is that each one of these, even though you kind of think that they're to-dos because they're on your to-do list, when your brain sees them, it sees them as just kind of vague statements. Book, anniversary, dry cleaning, what does that mean? You know, that your brain has virtually zero motivation for doing any of these things. And as a result, you completing them kind of tends to be a hit or miss kind of thing, right? You might get them done, but it's not unusual if they go undone, right? And so what I want to do is show you a simple technique that you can use to change this and several other things that you do so that you can almost force your brain to take action on these particular items or other items that I'll talk about later in this video. So let's talk about how it works, how this mind hack works, what you can do to this list to change it, to make it better. Alright, so what we need to do is take these vague statements, and what we need to do is add two important components to them. One is we need to add an action or a command to each statement, and two, we need to add some specifics. Okay, so an action, turn them into a command, and then we need to add some specifics. So let's look at how we could do that with this list that we're putting together. So the first item on our list is book. What do we really want to do? Well, maybe we want to, for today, write 10 pages in book. Okay, so instead of just book, a vague statement, we now have an action, and we've added some details. Okay, and as a matter of fact, you could even write the chapter that you want to write in, perhaps. The more specifics, the better. Okay. So let's look at the second item on our list, anniversary. What does that mean? Well, what we want to do is actually we want to talk with Mary about the location of Mom and Dad's anniversary. Okay, so we'll write that down. And so now, instead of just something like vague, like anniversary, we now have talk, which is a command, an action. Talk with Mary about the location of Mom and Dad's anniversary. And I know my handwriting's sloppy. I'm trying to save time on this video for you. But anyway, so we have a command and we have specifics. Once again, that's much better than just putting an anniversary in it. And your brain is going to be a lot more motivated to do something with this. Now, dry cleaning, that's something on a lot of people's to-do list. So instead of dry cleaning, say pick up dry cleaning at Bloomington Cleaners, which is where I go. So there you go. You take this simple, vague statement of dry cleaners and you turn it into an action, a command. Pick up, that's the action. Alright, specifics, dry cleaning at Bloomington Cleaners. So that's a simple way that you can convert your to-do list from vague statements to really actions and commands, which are really going to help motivate your brain to want to take actions on these items. Now, let's talk about why this works and a little bit more in detail and why you want to do it. First of all, that instead of using vague statements that mean very little to your brain, by using these commands with specifics, you're giving your brain a very specific command. You're telling it exactly the outcome that you want. And that's so important, because without an outcome, your brain really doesn't know what you want it to do. So you give it a command and you get specific about it. It acts like a clear, specific command. All right? It's a subtle difference between what you're doing here. That's true. And a lot of people would look at that and say, oh, my brain knows that I'm going to write a book, or I need to talk about the anniversary or dry clean, whatever. But this simple technique can really make a huge difference in the results that you get. Okay, so don't kind of dismiss it just because you think it's simple and subtle. It really can make a big difference. All right. Now, another thing that it does is if you do this technique enough, if you consistently do this whenever you're putting together your to-do lists or whatever, or using the action machine, this is how I use it. This is how I put items on the list or create timers with the action machine. Using commands. But if you do this enough, what happens is your brain becomes more action-oriented. It becomes clear and focused because you're giving it these commands instead of vagueness. Your brain doesn't like vagueness, and if you're just unclear about what you want it to do, then it's really not going to help you out the way that you want it to. So the more specific and the more that you train your brain to do this kind of thing and see the things that you need to do this way, the more active it's going to be and the better results you're going to get. Okay? So you want to get your brain into that mode of action, and this is one way of doing it. So this strategy works not only by creating your to-do list like we've demonstrated here, but anytime you're trying to capture ideas, don't just write down vague statements, but if you're trying to capture an idea of things that need to be done, capture them using this action statement strategy, this mind hack. Okay? Or another important use for it is if you're trying to delegate something to someone and you need them to do something, make sure that you give them a clear call to action with an action, with using a verb in whatever you need them to do, and be as clear and specific as you possibly can in whatever you want them to achieve. And those two things, turning it into a command and being specific, is going to make a world of difference in the results you get. Okay? So I hope you can find that, use that mind hack, and that it makes a big difference in the results that you get. Alright? So that's it for today's video, so thanks for watching.